All right, what's happening, guys? This is Logan with West Desert Wheeler. Today we're going to do a little bit of tire testing. We've got the Proline Toyo RT Open Country tire on here, and then we've got the J Concepts Hold tire. Now, I've heard some people really vouch for these, saying that they're awesome. Personally, on my terrain, I think these are actually going to do really bad, which is why I bought them. So I was curious if I could correctly guess if a tire will do good or bad. These ones I've had on my Toyota before, and they surprised me with their performance. I'm going to try them on my more performance-based rig. Both of these tires are brand new, never touched dirt. Because this one has a less aggressive tread pattern, it actually creates a pretty smooth, consistent contact patch, and I think these will do pretty good on the red rocks, where you want to have as much traction on the rock as possible, as well as on the V-cracks. Having a nice smooth surface to roll on that corner tread really makes a more consistent contact patch on the rocks. These guys are kind of the opposite of what you want. They're very squared off, and they're very chunky and big lugs on the side, so the truck will literally like ka-chunk, ka-chunk, ka-chunk as it rolls up the V-notches out here. So we're going to start off with the Proline Toyo. These have Krawler Innovation dual stage foams. These have Proline 4.75 dual stage foams in these. So these are on spec RC wheels, and these are on Vanquish Method 101s. They're both running 350 hubs. These wheels are going to be just a bit wider, as the comp cuts are designed to be a narrow fit, but it's not necessarily about track width. It's just kind of paying attention to how does the truck side hill, how does it climb up steep inclines, and how does it handle the V-notches. So we're going to go run some obstacles that I'm familiar with and see how they do out on the rocks. Let's get to it. Okay guys, first time for these Proline Toyos to touch the rocks at all, and we're going to try this incline here. See just kind of where the traction is, if it wants to climb it or not. I mean, these things still have like oil on them from, being molded and stuff. Now, a little bit about this truck. This is a Rock Pirates Interceptor chassis, and I recently threw it on the scales, and it's got a 60-40 weight distribution. It is 60% front weight. And then, let's see, what else? It's got a Vanquish VFD transmission. It's got Vanquish F10 portal axles, and the Rock Pirates goodies. Got sliders, the comp wagon body, just the usual good Rock Pirates stuff. So that left rear was on the rock before that right front got that hook in that little crack. So if the holds, we'll try a similar line and see if they can crawl it. Just working the steering very slightly left and right. Might let go. Just kind of paying attention to like what the tires want, where they're at. All right, finally made it up and over that incline. It was a pretty steep one, but a good amount of traction. Let's go try some other obstacles. All right, guys. Here we are. The look of the truck is certainly much different, looks much more aggressive. We're gonna find out what these J Concepts holds are made of. So, we're starting out brand new, never touched dirt, same climb. I carried the truck down here to the rock, and looks kind of like we're finding about the same amount of traction as the Proline on this wall. So, I mean, I did pay for these, so as funny as it might have been to be like, haha, let's see if these J Concepts holds work. I mean, it's still money out of my pocket to do this stuff. So I think that I am correct, where they're just not going to perform as good as some of the other tires. So I can't lose, because if they don't do well, I am correct. If they do well, then I was proven wrong and I have good tires. So, no, not really much to lose here. And hopefully you guys enjoy the content and, learn something along the way. There they go. Scooping and paddling. Oh, it slipped all the way down. Just trying to work the truck over to that groove. A little too much throttle probably. Seems like something on the right side is stopping me because the left side is stopping me because the right side is right where it needs to be. And these are Proline dual stage 4.75 foams. Just a pretty standard foam, nothing real exotic. They are dual stage to help fight side rolling and whatnot. Okay, hold on to it, truck. Keep going, keep going. Interesting. I don't remember the Proline falling all the way down. And I didn't do that before. They just don't want to go up this. Okay, we're moving on to the next obstacle then. So today's temperature, air temperature is about 50 degrees. The rocks are probably a little cooler. Yesterday was pretty cold, somewhere in the 40-degree range. This is a very aggressive side hill. So we're gonna try and front tire is not coming up on top of that ledge, so we're gonna drive on the low side of it then. And this is the entrance to Mousetrap. So I've driven this line a lot, and I know that like the rocks, if it's too cold or if there's too much dust on them, will not let you side hill in here. So, along with line choice, sometimes the rocks themselves are just not in a condition that will let you pass. So we're gonna try and get our rear a little bit lower. And then let's try getting our tire up on that ledge and then driving across. And then we'll find out what the truck wants to do today, what the rocks will let us do. That right rear is starting to climb. And that left rear should level out just a little bit and save us. And there we go. So it took a little bit of shimmying and we had to get both tires up, the truck pretty straight uphill before we could make it. Let's try and remember that line for the holds. Okay, here we are, the side hill entrance to Mousetrap. We're gonna start by trying the low line that the Prolines tried on the first attempt. So we're just gonna let that tire go right under that ledge. I already see the truck shifting a little bit. Right rear is getting light. It's holding on so far. It's gonna let go here in a second. Maybe not, maybe not. Come on, holds. Wow. Very impressed by that, actually. Interesting. So the hold's got the low line. So we're also going to try the high line as well, just to get a good, fair comparison. So we're gonna start by approaching this with our rear just a little lower than before. Yeah, that should put us right where we want. And climb that front tire on the ledge and then follow it over. Then it's this hard part of balancing, climbing the front right. Oh. Ow. Slider went right into my knuckle when I caught that. Okay, let's try that one more time. Okay, front left caught traction, pulled it up. Trying to get that rear left kind of where I want. That's not good. It's unloading. As soon as I touch the throttle, it's gonna roll. Maybe not. Okay, it got the high line too. So I guess side hilling through there, advantage holds. Maybe I should have tried harder with the pro lines, but that's where we got today. Here we are headed into Mousetrap, Tyson's entrance. This is a long V crack, so my suspicion is that these tires will do well in this type of obstacle. Again, because of those smooth sidewalls and shoulder area. I just think that these tires will lend themselves to a consistent contact patch, and I don't think we'll see a ton of tire slipping in here unless I put it on a bad line. I do think the holds are going to spin, and I will point out where I think they're going to spin. So there's that little nub off that front driver tire. When the rears touch that with the holds, I bet the truck spins. We will find out. This truck may be a little too narrow for that to be an issue. And then with the hold set up, it's a little narrower as well. So the key is to drive this crack all the way out the top like this. Yeah, I never felt like I had any amount of too little traction. So cruise right out the top. Pretty happy with the performance there. Told you that slider took a bite out of me. Damn it. Here we go. Heading up into the crack. This may not show exactly what I believe these will do. We're gonna find out. So let's try and get this truck a little leveled out. Maybe I ought to slow down a bit. Okay, that was kind of spinning due to my line choice, not necessarily the tires. Okay, that left rear is a little high, so I gotta take a reset. Holy hell. I'm trying to get this back axle leveled out. There we go. So let's see how it handles right here. This is kind of the line it needed to be on. I saw a little twitchiness. Little twitchiness is all. Like it wanted to about spin, went about 3 lugs and then took back off again. So the first part with the reverse, that's on me. But as it came through on the correct line, it's just a little bit off. So we're on an incline, and then we're going to drive up into this little notch, front passenger right in there, and then just turn into that side a little bit. Let's see where the truck wants it to go. Right rear is kind of stopping us. So maybe drive up. So now this may be somewhere where the holds do better because they have those larger lugs to pull that right rear up on top of that ledge. So maybe if we try a different approach, where hopefully that right rear doesn't end up trying to climb as much. Okay, had to use quite a bit of throttle and then pulled it right out the top. Pretty good. Not my favorite way to crawl though. Trying to avoid throttle when necessary. All right, we're going to intentionally drive that right rear onto those little rocks. We're going to drive the front right into the corner of that little notch. And we're going to see if these right rear tire will push the truck up and over that obstacle rather than just letting it spin. So you can see the truck's hopping a lot more at the low wheel speed than the Pro line was. So that kind of shows me the lugs are trying to push. There we go, lifting that front passenger. It'll take more pressure off that right rear. Coming way right. I mean, that's just a different line. But we got the fronts up. Now we got to work the rear back over. And then as soon as that front passenger's in that crack, should be able to turn and pull it up. just about the same, driving over that little knob on the top. And there we go. So let's try a different line there. Instead of driving the passenger way up on the wall, because I never tried that with the Pro line, just try driving like up here and then turning into it. Trying to keep that right rear away from that rock. Let's try it one more time. Swing wide. See if we can just drive into it. That rear just slips down into the same position every time. Hear that front left chunking away at that rock. Full right crank, there it is. Put the tire right back in the crack and it climbs up. So alright, made two different lines there. Hard to say if it's better than the Pro line, because the first line, the Pro line never got a chance to try. Although the raw traction on that seemed pretty good. I'm not mad about that in any way. The old holds are doing pretty good through there. Alright, the main obstacle on Mousetrap. I don't know exactly what we're looking for here, other than it's a really cool obstacle. And today you can see exactly why it got its name. There's a full-size trail out here called Chutes and Ladders. It's a board game. So for my RC trails, I decided to name them all after board games, and you can see a ton of mouse poop down in the bottom of the trail here. So I decided to call this one Mousetrap. So that's where she got her name. And then I'm gonna try and force those rears to go where I want. There it is. Yeah, that width is a little tricky in here. We're going to try and get high up on the right side before we exit. And slide that left rear in just a little bit. And that's going to help us pivot around this corner, because it's going to help that front right stay up and come around the corner. Hopefully the suspension articulates. Front end gets locked and it swings the rear around, lines you square for that next climb. I've done this a lot, so it's a very difficult line, but luckily I've done it enough to learn the line. The rock down in here is new. That hasn't always been there. Very, very nice. Interceptor slays, man. I like this truck a lot. And that last attempt went bad from the rears coming through the pocket. So I'll try and point out what I'm talking about. There's a crack off the front driver tire right there. There's a little dip on the ledge. And if you don't have your rear axle as level as possible, they end up going super sideways through there. And it'll tip you off your line, basically. There it goes. Yeah. So that left rear just ended up a little more level than the first attempt. So again, intentionally dipping our left rear there to help pivot around this corner. Front end's going to end up in a wedge. Slide the rears over, up and out. Definitely no shortage coming from the tire on that. Okay. Still learning the line around that rock right there. All right, last technical climb here. We're gonna land our front passenger just at the point of that crack. We're gonna try and drive at the bottom of it until I want to turn into the wall. So that rear's coming up. Both rears are up. I'm gonna turn into the wall and the truck's gonna drive up. Lots of traction there. That looked really, really good. So far, before reviewing the footage and kind of watching it a few times, pretty good impression on the Proline Toyos, honestly. They do well. They did really good on my Sage truck, and you know, they might find a home on one of my trucks soon. We'll find out. They are a little bit shorter than the crawlers that I use, and crawlers are my favorite, so for now, they're not going anywhere. That's why these aren't the wheels that I normally run on this truck. The crawlers are sitting at home, all mounted up, ready to go back on the truck for competitions. I'm gonna drive just up on the wall, get the front right up in the point, and then follow that bottom crack up. Left rear's climbing, right rear's gonna climb, turn back into the wall. There it is. Maybe I turned just at the wrong point in time, but overall, not too bad. Check out the tires already breaking in. Like the leading edge is coming off on those. It's just those little bits of rubber you can kind of see flapping around in the wind. Yeah, tires are already scrubbing in on the very first run, so these are soft, which can be a good thing. I would like to see them scrubbed in because I think they will do better, but very soft compound. Not sure how long those are gonna hold up. All right, guys, so in summary, the Proline Toyo tires, they look fantastic. They are at a slight disadvantage being a little bit shorter than the other tires I typically run, but I will say you don't really notice it while out crawling. They really seem to punch above what you would think that they would do, meaning they're better than they look. So I really like them. They are a pretty consistent brand new tire into slightly scrubbed in tire. They've just got a nice consistent traction right out of the bag and stay that way. They haven't really wowed me yet on what they do, but you know, maybe with more time. That G8 compound's a little bit tougher and takes longer to scrub in, but I would absolutely recommend picking up a set if you're interested in that tread pattern. I don't know if I would go out of my way to get them over some of the other options available on the market, but for the scale looks, they have great performance. As far as the J Concepts holds, I went into this, you know, thinking that they wouldn't do very good, and on the first climb, they did not impress me. In fact, the Proline did get an advantage on that first climb. However, as they've continued to scrub in, and I've driven them after this video, and they've scrubbed in even more, they're getting better and better, and they're really starting to get good, where I really like them. So I would absolutely recommend picking them up. They are not my favorite style tire for rock crawling, just because in full size you don't really see boggers out there on the red rocks. Although, if you like the style, that's great. They perform pretty damn good out here on the red rocks. They are super aggressive looking, and I do believe that they're gonna wear down pretty quick, but I think I'm gonna keep running them. I may end up running them in a competition just to see how they compare to most of my other friends who run, you know, crawlers in G8. It's not always a bad thing to try something a little bit different as long as it's still comparable and see if you can find an edge somewhere. So I would say, you know, both of these tires are worth buying, and choose the style that you like. I haven't been disappointed yet, and I hope you guys enjoyed the content. This isn't like a this versus that. It's just kind of a first impressions of both tires, and I'm liking both of them. So the J Concepts did turn me, and I do like them. I hope you guys enjoyed the content. Be sure to hit the affiliate links down below. We will see you guys in the next one. Keep the rubber side down.